Ever wonder why you can remember a joke from 10 years ago, but forget the mortgage rate you saw yesterday? It's because your brain isn't a calculator. It's a pattern matching machine. So today, we're not staring at boring charts. We're building the housing market puzzle piece by piece. We're using the up house to represent the housing market and a super fast roadrunner for one simple reason: speed. Because the housing market either moves really fast or painfully slow. And when you attach something and a little ridiculous, your brain will remember it. Now I realize that I've already probably dated myself with a Roadrunner reference. So for my younger viewers, just imagine it's the Flash or A-Train from the Boys. Whatever you imagine, just make it really silly and ridiculous, because that's how you're going to recall this all. Now that you've been brought up to speed, dad joke unlocked.
What do you call an old snowman? A glass of water.
All right, now let's break down our SPEED acronym. S is for supply. P is for pricing. E is for engagement. E is for efficiency. And D is for direction. Supply. This includes active listings, what's currently for sale, and new listings, fresh homes hitting the market this week. This is the supply side of the equation. Supply seems obvious, but most people read this wrong and look only at total inventory. However, you're now going to distinguish between active listings and new listings, and you'll see this distinction in your market reports. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, inventory is inventory. Think of it like a bakery. Active inventory is everything on the shelf. Some of it is fresh, warm bread, and some of it is that stale old bread that nobody wants, that rock-hard croissant. It includes the accumulation of unwanted homes. But new listings are the fresh tray coming out of the oven this morning. This is why you won't look at total inventory the same way again. The pieces start to click when we see how they fit. Pricing. In the race of real estate, the list price is the starting point. That's what a seller hopes to get. The closed price is the finish line. So what happens in between? We look at the median list price and median sold price. We can't use averages because averages are easily manipulated by outliers. Here's why. Imagine a modest cul-de-sac and 6 homes all average about $400,000. Suddenly, a tech bro moves in at the end of the block, tears down the old house, and builds a multi-million-dollar compound. The average price of homes on that street would skyrocket, and a buyer looking at that report would think, I can't afford to live here. But the reality is, 6 of those homes are still about $400,000. The average would lie because the tech bro skewed the entire street.
This is just not good.
Let's take a closer look with our outlier in the mix. The median, which is literally just the middle number in the list, it ignores the tech bro. It filters out the mega homes and tells you what the middle of the pack is doing. Feel free to pause here and take a look at another more in-depth visual breakdown. Engagement. Pending sales are runners about to cross the finish line, while sold listings show the final activity. Engagement tells us who is actually showing up to watch this race, and the metric here is pending sales. This metric is vital because real estate data is notoriously slow. Sold data is history. It happened 30 to 45 days ago because typically a closing takes about a month. Pending sales, that happens this week and are a forward-looking indicator. So, if you want to predict what next month's report is going to look like, you should look at pending sales today. If pending sales are spiking, that means buyers are writing checks right now. But if pending sales drop off a cliff, you've got no runners in the race. Sold listings hit right at the heart of the S.P.E.E.D formula, especially the E for engagement. Sold listings are the final result of the engagement. Think of sold listings as the runners who actually cross the finish line. For a buyer, sold listings are the most crucial piece of data. It tells them the closed price, which is reality. It shows what people were actually willing to pay. The sold price is one of the only honest anchors for negotiating an offer. If the median price is rising, as a buyer, you know you have to step up your game. For a seller, sold listings sets the expectations. As your agent, I run a comparison market analysis for my clients, better known as a CMA, a comprehensive list of recently sold homes near you. This data prevents the seller from being unrealistic. If sellers sold similar homes for $400,000 last month, you can't realistically list your home for $500,000. This data gives both buyers and sellers a shared reality. And edge. Efficiency. Efficiency shows us the speed of the market, and the metric is the DOM, better known as the days on market. This is your speedometer. In a hot market, a house lists on a Thursday and is under contract by Monday. The DOM is 4 or 5 days and frictionless. Buyers that are hungry aren't sleeping on it. But what happens when that speedometer slows down? What happens when the DOM creeps up to 45, 60, 90 days? It's not just a stale croissant scenario.
It's beautiful, but look closely at the windows.
And that tilted sign doesn't exactly inspire confidence, does it?
When a buyer sees a house on the market for 60 days, they don't think, oh, a hidden gem. They immediately think, what's wrong with it? It creates a psychological stigma referred to as market rot. Is the foundation cracking? Did someone die in the basement? Are the neighbors forming a drum circle at 2 a.m.? Even if the house is perfectly fine, the high DOM makes it smell bad. A high DOM is a massive signal that demand has evaporated, or commonly, sellers are getting greedy and overpricing their listings. And this directly changes your strategy. If you're a buyer and you see that the DOM is 5 days, then you know you must go in strong and fast. There is no time for games.
This feels like home.
If you see it 60 days, well, then you can sleep on it. You have leverage. You can negotiate. Direction. When you think about month over month and year over year, think of it like weather versus climate. Month over month is your weather report. It tells you what's happening right now. If the median list price jumps 2% this month, that's a short-term shift. buyers should pay attention to, but it can change quickly. Year over year is the climate. It confirms the direction of the market and tells you whether price growth is actually being sustained. Month over month is volatile. If prices dip 1% from October to November, that's just weather. It doesn't mean the market is turning. Real estate is highly seasonal. Activity almost always slows during the winter. Fewer people want to move during the holidays. So if prices drop in the winter, that's expected. It's not a crash. What matters is how this winter compares to last winter. If prices are up year over year, the market is structurally strong. If they're down, that confirms a sustained slowdown. That's why the climate is the most reliable way to understand the true direction of the housing market. Picture this. A brand new realtor saw a sudden dip in home prices and immediately panicked. The numbers had shifted, and to them, it felt like the market was turning. A seasoned investor looked at the same data and didn't flinch. The realtor was focused on the weather vane, the month-over-month change. It had swung, and they were ready to react. The investor pulled back and said, "You don't make decisions based on a single gust of wind. You look at the seasons. Month over month is the gust. It grabs your attention, but it's volatile and constantly changing. Year over year is the climate. It tells you the true direction and whether trends are actually holding. The market will always have short-term swings. That's normal, especially in real estate, where seasonality plays a huge role. If you're staying hyper-focused on month over month, you're missing the bigger picture. The major report is year over year. You'll make decisions with clarity and confidence because you know where the market is really headed. Last but not least, we must talk about the list to sale price ratio, negotiation scoreboard. It tells you exactly who has the upper hand before you even step through the front door. Now, if it's over 100%, expect bidding wars. Buyers are throwing cash on the table, so suit up. You're in a pay-to-play zone. If it's under 100%, this is your discount zone. There's blood in the water. This is your green light to hunt for a deal and ask for those repairs. If it's exactly 100%, this is your stalemate, your dead heat. It's a perfectly balanced standoff. No one is winning and no one is losing yet. A strong seller's market, it's like the grand opening of a world-famous bakery that only made 10 loaves of bread for a crowd of 500 people. The bottom line, in this scenario, the seller is the one sipping coffee while buyers are doing all the sweating. You don't have the luxury of time. You only have the buy now or regret it forever pressure. However, in a strong buyer's market, it's like a massive going out of business sale at a giant department store where you're the only person in the building. The bottom line, in this market, you are king of the castle. You have the luxury of time, choice, and negotiation, while the seller is the one doing the sweating, watching their inventory sit and waiting for a rescuer. All right, this video is a wrap. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, subscribe, share it with a friend that will find it valuable, comment down below. You can message me anywhere, anytime. You know how to find me now. I'm thrilled to be a resource for you. Take care.